Today, we're going to read and talk about all of Revelation chapter 6. This chapter talks about the 7 seals. Even though after we read it, there won't actually be all 7 seals mentioned here, as there's only 6 in this chapter, and the final one mentioned in chapter 8. But this is the first punishment, starting the boatload of them, that will be rained down on the earth during the final times. Starting in verse 1 and reading through verse 8. Now I watched when the Lamb opened one of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures say with a voice like thunder, "Come!" And I looked, and behold, a white horse, and its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he came out conquering and to conquer. When he opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd living creature say, "Come!" And out came another horse, bright red. Its rider was permitted to take peace from the earth, so the people should slay one another, and he was given a great sword. When he opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd living creature say, "Come!" And I looked, and behold, a black horse, and its rider had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard what seemed to be a voice in the midst of the 4 living creatures, saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and wine." When he opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th living creature say, "Come!" And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him. And they were given authority over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by wild beasts of the earth. These first 4 seals all relate to a horse with a rider that comes to the earth and does something to the people on it. The first seal, being opened, is called by the 1st living creature, as I just read, and so on with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th living creatures, calling their respective number seals. The first horse is white, and its rider goes out into the world to conquer. This horse goes out as a more political or military symbol, as he makes it so leaders will want to conquer other territories. And that is what leads to the following horses, being war, the red horse, famine, the black horse, and just overall negativity per se with the pale horse, the 4th horse, but adding specifically disease. Remember that when one person is trying to take control over the entire world, the end times may be coming. But of course, we never know when it might happen. Many people thought the end times were here within World War II, as Hitler wanted to take over the world for himself and strongly disliked Jews, God's chosen people. However, it was not the end of the world. However, overall, conquering is still the first seal that is sent out, with leaders wanting domination and more land for their countries. The 2nd horse is red, and its rider was committed to taking peace from the earth, as the verse states, hence symbolizing war. War normally starts from conquest, so it makes sense that these horses would follow one another. The fact that it was given a great sword also symbolizes war, as that is a weapon for combat, especially for combat in the times when Revelation was penned. The 3rd horse is black, and it comes with scales. As I just read, you can hear a voice talking about prices and trading for food, and we can understand that this horse symbolizes famine hitting the world, which is also a common outcome after wars end or while wars are going on. So it makes sense that famine is following war, the 2nd horse and the 3rd horse. The final horse is a pale horse, representing overall death. As it is written in verse 8, this horse was given the authority to kill by any means necessary for an entire fourth of the earth, 25% of the earth. This horse coincides with the red horse of war and with the black horse of famine, but also introduces 2 new elements of destruction, pestilence or sickness, and the wild beasts of the earth. Jumping to the last 2 seals in verses 9 through 17, we read, "When he opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain for the word of God and for the witness they had borne. They cried out with a loud voice, O sovereign Lord, holy and true. How long before you will judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth?" Then they were each given a white robe and told to rest a little longer, until the number of their fellow servants and their brothers should be complete, who were to be killed as they themselves had been. When he opened the sixth seal, I looked, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth. The full moon became like blood, and the stars of the sky fell to the earth, as the fig tree sheds its winter fruit when shaken by a gale. The sky vanished like a scroll that is being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth, and the great ones, and the generals, and the rich, and the powerful, and everyone, slave and free, hid themselves in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains, calling to the mountains and rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand?" The next two seals are mentioned in these ending verses. And just like I said at the beginning, you may be thinking, wait, isn't the title of this video the 7 seals? That only makes 6 in total. And that's exactly true. That's because the 7th seal will be opened later on in Revelation, where we hear about it in chapter 8, 2 chapters from this one. The 5th seal doesn't necessarily cause any immediate destruction, but it talks about people who have been martyred for the Lord and then crying out for vengeance for their deaths on the earth. They are just told to wait longer until the number is complete, and then something will happen to the people the martyrs mentioned. When that happens, we don't learn here. Neither do we learn who exactly it will impact. But we do learn who the 6th seal will impact, and that's everyone. The 6th seal is the most detrimental to the earth, as there is a great earthquake, the sun goes black, the moon becomes blood, the stars fall to the earth, and everything on the earth is moved, every mountain, every island. Now, in my personal opinion, I do believe that these 6 seals will occur before us as believers as believers are taken to be with God. And I'll get into that in chapter 7. But we also have to understand, if we look back to all the chapters before this, there's no mention of us being taken from the earth. So, logically, we must still be here on earth at this point, in my mind. Nonetheless, we know that the 6th seal causes insane and drastic events on the earth, and causes everyone in the world to flee and ask for death from the rocks and mountains to be hidden from God. Now here, I don't honestly know where believers would be, because I feel we wouldn't be here being fearful, but it clearly states that everyone, slave and free, will be hiding from the wrath of God. However, we do know, by verse 17, that this is the start of the true end times, as we get the final verse stating, "The great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand?" This refers to the wrath of God poured out on the earth, and we'll learn who can stand up to that in chapter 7.